Hello there. Welcome to the Amma Manson Show. So, hopefully, you are not a stranger here. But what goes on here is education, definitely some empowerment. We add humor, information, and just a good vibe generally. It is not just a talk show, it's a live show. We talk about life, we unpick life, we find solutions to the things that stress us in life, and we make progress together. It is the Amma Manson Show, and my name is Amma, your girl, your educator, your motivator, and I kick your hind wherever we need to. Enjoy, invite other people to join in, and hopefully you have a wonderful experience on today's show. Let's get straight into things.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Amma. I think those of you from my community, my niche community, do know me. But I think this video is one I want to go beyond just my niche community. I would like this one to be picked up by all the Black progress groups. Definitely share it with the Black Lives Matter groups. It's a message to all my brothers and to all my sisters. See, I am the bottom of the bottom. My life matters the very least. And I'll confess why. I am Black. But I'm not just Black, I am Black African. Alright? Okay. And I'm a girl. I'm female. And at the moment, I'm actually middle-aged. Oh my God. Racism against me. Sexism against me. Ageism beginning to go against me. And I have two choices. Cry my eyes out, march in the streets, scream and shout on social media, blame all my white friends and whatnot. Those are all options. But when I sit down and I look at these options, and yes, Black Lives Matter. My life matters an awful lot to me. My life counts. And yeah, I have 2 teenage kids. I have a Black son. So yes, Black Lives Matter. It matters to me a lot personally. I want equal rights for us. Absolutely. I want us to be treated fairly. Absolutely. But there are some fundamental truths. Listen up. Listen up and let's talk. It would have been nice if the world was fair. Unfortunately, it's not. It would have been wonderful if other people would invite us to a table. Well, sorry, they are banqueting alone. You are eating scraps and crumbs from the floor. So am I. So am I. And this is the real truth. So this morning in my notes before the video, I wrote, Black Lives Matter when Black people force respect. Our lives matter when we force respect. And I'll tell you some of them. Unfortunately, the world actually works on economic lines. Purchasing power equals strength, equals respect, equals invitation to dinner tables and whatnot. In my view, there are certain things that I feel we could do that would actually make a difference in my view. There are certain things that we could do that might create a media circus but doesn't necessarily change anything. And one of those things I am going to express. I know a lot of you would disagree on this one, but hear me out, sound me out. You would actually understand what I'm saying to you. So this morning, I could organize where I live. We have a lot of Black people here. I could organize and we could go to an embassy and we could protest. We could dance and we could do whatever peacefully. But when I sit down and I think about it from my perspective, having done that, I don't think even the local news agencies will cover it. And even if they did, it will get a day's coverage. And if we march and we go home and we do nothing else apart from march, it is a waste of time. It is a waste of energy. It is a waste of resources. Listen, the march is not a problem. But the march should be part of a more systematic approach. The march should just be the beginning of a strategic continuum. But if it's only a march and it's an isolated march, and it happens when one of us is murdered, it happens when one of us is discriminated against, it happens when one of us is highlighted, it is a wasted effort in my view. A black person is murdered every day. A black person experiences racial discrimination every single minute of every single day. My experience living this, watching my kids and my friends and my associates convinces me it might even be more than per minute rates. How often would we march? How often would we protest? How often would we loot? And you know, when we loot for alcohol. When we loot for cigarettes. When we loot for certain things that are actually low value. And whilst we are busy looting for cigarettes and for alcohol and for diapers and for all these things, some of them are needs, some of them are wants, we have created an avenue for the other group to be looting from the Apple store in our name. Everybody says we looted. But I've seen many videos when the looters were not even mixed race. They don't have a lick of color. But those guys were looting premium goods. I have seen videos where police officers themselves were looting into the back of a car. Wearing United States uniform. Looting. I've seen many of these people, actually people inside our community, to loot and to riot, because that's the rhetoric for us. Folks, it's about time we say this to ourselves and we tell each other so that we are no longer easy to manipulate. Protests are not our only way. We might elect to protest, but it has to be on our terms. We should never be incited to protest. We should never be incited to riot. Even if we choose to march, it should be on our terms, as part of our strategy, not because it's become a given and it's the only thing we do when something goes wrong. So let me tell you what I think and what I've been saying to everybody who's been asking me recently. The only way to make Black Lives Matter is to make my life matter and to make that of my children matter. And to tell you so that you make your life matter and you make your children's life matter. The only way for us to do that is for us to start learning economic capability. Money is power. Money is influence. We are black, but we is not all black together. We is not all black equally. I've gone back to bad grammar, just as my friend says. We all speak bad grammar. I'm like, thank you very much. We enjoy bad grammar. If you don't understand it, jump in the sea. Anyway, listen, in my poverty, I'm not equally black with Oprah. But you know, Oprah started in circumstances even worse than my own. Oprah started off and she would have been incredibly marginalized. Oprah is Oprah at the moment, and we all talk about Oprah, and she is influential because she has forced herself onto a particular place based on purchasing power, based on fiscal assets. She has created a voice for herself, agency for herself. It is all about influence. Not necessarily always hard cash, but it's about your knowledge you have. It's about creating a stage for yourself. It's about forcing people to see that you do know and you understand. It's for forcing people to see you as an expert, as a respectable person. At the moment, very few of us have done that. And so people treat them as the outliers. The rest of us are stupid, and the very few outliers have done well, and we know it's not true. I should be an outlier. You should be an outlier. He should be an outlier. She should be an outlier. And eventually people will realize, no, it is not outliers. This is the community identity. This is the black people problem. This is the black people problem. A few people actually strive and they do well and they make it out, make a name for themselves, but they are outliers. And even those who go on that journey struggle because they are isolated. They have no community around them. They have no security around them. They are isolated. Even their work is not valued the way it should. But if a group of us would have gone together, if you would have helped me and I would have helped you, and we climbed up on the stairs, one step at a time, and we went higher, and we went higher, and we encouraged each other. We told each other where we are coming from and the reason why we strive and the reason why we force and the reason why we bring ourselves to the table and we make people listen. It's not just for you. It is for you and everybody who looks like you. You have to earn your respect so people say, that's a respectable black person. I have to earn my respect. And people should look at me and think, oh, she is not a miserable petty thief. She is not a miserable beggar. No, she has actually done something for herself, and sometimes she's even capable of giving to other communities. Oh, maybe not all black people are beggars. Oh, I get this a lot. She is so articulate. How are you African and how are you articulate? I'm like, Oracy has nothing to do with racial origin. You know, Oracy is about development. Oracy has nothing to do with your age and nothing else. And people are like, I didn't mean to be insulting. That's true. But most people would say, so if every time I say to people, oh, I'm African, people are like, oh, you're not typical. And it's annoying. I need to be the typical African. You need to be the typical Caribbean. You need to be, they need to be, everybody needs to change that rhetoric of the typical. At the moment, the typical is not flattering whatsoever. It doesn't flatter us at all. We need to go back down as groups and communities and start looking at 21st century money ideals. For the very first time in our existence, we have the opportunity to level the playing ground. Because right now, being successful, making money, building an empire doesn't have a lot of things to do with the college degrees many of us don't have. The educational system sabotaged us a long time ago. We did not get the college degrees when our friends were getting it because we had to work in McDonald's. We did not move on when other people were doing it because we needed to make money. I get it. I've been there. I am you. We are together. But listen, as long as we keep citing things and explain our problems, as long as we continue to let the rhetoric play, as long as we continue the victim mentality. Yes, we've been victimized, but my good God, we have to move on from the mentality. We do. It has happened. There is no moving away from it, but God, it should not confine us to a particular place. It should not confine us. We need to go down to the table and have a look at their new money principles, the kind of principles that are making white teenagers millionaires overnight. A lot of those kids have not even got a college degree. They just do have the same phone you have, and in fact, most of us have better phones than these kids. We have gadgets because, again, we have been told that we need these things for validation, so we waste our money on things. We don't even know how to use these things, but we keep buying it, we don't know what other people are using these things for. Other people are using them to transform their lives, and before our very eyes, even with the leverage opportunity, these white kids are making strides whilst ours sleep and watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Oh yes, we need to change. We need to learn, my people. Oh yes, we need to learn. And we start from the basic money principles of this decade, 2020. Money is online. Money is in affiliate marketing. Money is in selling other people's intelligence and selling other people's skills. Money in providing services. Money in providing advice. But a lot of us, from the old mentality, help the community. We put lots of time in wanting to look good and being good and for people to say we are kind, but we never really learn how to turn that skill into making money. This is leverage for black people. Go home and tell every black person you know that for the very first time since whatever happened, we are all capable of flipping the coin in our advantage. We don't need college degrees. I know we didn't get it, but we don't need it. Woo! It is not necessary. For the first time, it is possible for us to actually learn this game and take this game on. We have to start earning so that we are able to afford not the foolish things they've told us to buy. A lot of us, myself included, have been trapped into getting into having things to demonstrate your progress, buying cars to show that you've made money, wearing expensive things in order to get validation. No, we need to move away from some of those things. We need to learn to make money and to learn to hang on to money, learn to invest money, and learn to move ourselves from the money we get into better circumstances. We need to start earning so we will leave those communities they've reserved for us. We need to start earning so we can take the next generation kids, our kids, to better schools than we did, so that our kids will become more fluent than we do. Yes, it is very important that we learn the rules of the West. We play by the rules of the West, and we win the rules. We win the game by those rules. It is their game. We can't do anything about it. The only option available is to learn this game well enough, to play this game skillful enough, to win hands down. A lot of us need to start moving ourselves from just being employees and flip that mentality to learning to become self-employed. When you are self-employed, when you run your own business, when you run your own company, when you control a few more things, it brings you a little bit more clout. It does. It does. When you are able to afford, so I was talking to somebody about if some of these victims, not everything, I mean, some things are chance based, but there are some of these incidents that we've seen recently. If the person was actually living in a particular area, if the person was a well-known person, if the person was in his car with his driver, if the person, some of these things actually bring protection for you. Some of those things bring protection for you. And it's very important that we all sit down and look at where we are at, look at the circumstances prevailing, and start looking at things that improve our odds. And for me, as I said earlier, it is all about changing your purchasing power. Once you've changed your purchasing power, you also need to know the power in your hand. And you also need to devolve that money strategically, wisely. We need to start learning to support Black businesses. So we will start creating more Black millionaires and billionaires. So that people will start seeing, like the Chinese have recently done, people will start seeing us not with the poverty tag. If only I become a millionaire, again, as I said, I am an outlier. It is insignificant. You have to be a millionaire. I have to be a millionaire. He has to be a billionaire. We need to have a few people. And then after a while, when enough of us have got those, and we help the next generation to even do better than we do, after a while, people will remove the poverty tag from us because it will be stupid to tag us. At the moment, it is so easy to tag Black people under achievement. We are all petty thieves because we are broke. You know why? It's because that's actually true for the majority of us. It is devastating to admit, but it is true. So many of us live on the poverty line or beneath it. So many of us depend on aid and on the system we all bash. So many of us are not able to do things for ourselves, and for that reason, when you are dependent, it is so easy to abuse you. It is so easy to abuse you. I want us all to come to this learning. I want us to tell this thing to our kids. I want you to empower your next person and tell them, together we make progress. Together we get better. I must commit as a person to get on that internet and go find out what people are doing. And the words are these. A lot of people are doing affiliate marketing. Black people are marketers naturally. But we market things for free. We pass on word of mouth for people for free. We help these companies and businesses to make lots of money, and there is no thank you for us. We need to learn these games. White people, well, some of us too, but generally, these guys have learned this thing. They make their recommendations, they make a bob or two. After a while, you find that they would make more money than you do. And yeah, I remain here. The person I went on the same course with goes this way, and they still look at me. They only see a fool. They only see a fool. I have to reverse that. When somebody looks up at me, he cannot call me a fool. It will make him a fool to do so. We need to make sure that it's not possible for people to tag us with poverty, with theft, with looting, because it is beneath us. It is beneath us. The reason why we loot at the first opportunity is because we struggle to make ends meet. This is the truth. When something happens and we are supposed to match, so many of us are hungry that they see a shop, they have to go in there. And it's usually, like I said, to pick little bits of food and to pick liquor. Not good enough. We need to make sure that we do so much better and we help our brothers and sisters to become self-sufficient, so that no more people need to loot. It is not necessary. Even if the shop door is open, like some of these white people do, they walk right past. They do have their problems too, don't get me wrong. I'm just looking at generalities in terms of numbers. And if you look at the average white person in the West, looking at the systems and the advantages they have, they are much better off than we are. They are much better off than we are. They know it, we know it. It makes us inferior, makes them feel superior. So yeah, like they call us the mud beast. The mud beast needs to learn the tools that we can use to improve ourselves. We need to flip the rhetoric so fast, like the operas and these guys have done. It can be done. It can be done. I need to find my own way of doing it. You need to find your own way of doing it. And then we teach more people to do it. Whatever principle you find, tell it to your people in your own lingua. At the moment, I'm speaking English because I want to transcend this beyond just my community. But after this video, you can be very sure that my subsequent videos will be in my lingua. The details of what people should do will be in my lingua. Where people should go, what sort of schemes people should sign up to, what marketing tools and strategies people should use will be in my lingua, because I do not want that in the wrong hands. I don't want anybody else to know what we're doing for ourselves. We are having ourselves a little uprising. So I will speak the languages I speak. I'm asking you to speak the languages you speak. I am asking you to go learn and pass that knowledge to people who share your language, so that only people in your community hear this information. Only people in my community hear this information, so that I can help my people get better. You can help your people get better. And collectively, suddenly, without any warning, without people knowing, we don't need to alert anybody. We just do it. And suddenly, these guys, we see all these black millionaires, all these black billionaires doing things in our own communities, running our own projects, changing outcomes for ourselves, no longer needing them. And then that is when we win this fight. So if you are tempted to ask me to go riot, not my style. I am on the internet trying to learn. You want me to come scream Black Lives Matter? No, I am busy trying to make a Black Life matter. The other 4 Black lives connected to me in this house matter. My siblings, the people in my community matter. People in Africa matter. And after a while, everybody would know that Black Lives Matter, because we will force that agenda for sure. So yeah, you wanted to know my view. There you are. I don't think you like it, because it's not what you were expecting. You want me to be here screaming and shouting it's not fair. We've been doing that for a long time. It doesn't change anything. And I don't have time to do things that don't change my life. Okay? I don't. So yeah, that's my answer. My name is Amma Manson. For those of you who don't know me, you can definitely go check my main page on YouTube, Amma Manson 1. But these principles I'm actually teaching, I am running a channel in English for, and on YouTube, that project is called Money Amma. Share that website. I only started it last week. I think it has like 14 subscribers. It's very new. because this is what I want to do to change things for my community. Share with anybody and everybody you do know. I am off to go and learn. I am off to share. I will put all the learning that I can, generalities in English, on that channel. Watch it, and then you translate it into your language. Watch it, go learn some more, add to it, and pass it on to your people, and empower more people who look like us to become better. And collectively, we will change how people think of us. All right. Thank you so much. I am eternally grateful. See you soon.